We are here. Thank you, Austin. We're here today. You officially have a buyer. Now, what do we do with them? And we've shown you guys a few different things. We've shown you how to set up RMLS searches. We've shown you how to do searches. And what do we do? Did we show them how to do searches on their websites? And we've kind of been all over. We try to teach you something different in every one of these so that you're always coming and learning all the different things that you can do, right? Yeah. So now you have a buyer.
Yeah. So
what do you do with the buyer when you have a buyer?
Right. And I'm just looking at this.
I'm going to share screen.
I'm looking at this for the first time, folks. And I like it. So is this like a question, Tanya, let me ask you this. Is this a questionnaire that you can send your buyer and they can easily click and answer the questions and then he provides you with the answers?
No, this is your buyer presentation. So you would actually send them the whole thing and they could print it.
Okay,
right?
They would print it. Okay.
Or as much as you want to edit it or whatever.
Okay.
Or you could take it in and you can create
So the things on the right here, those aren't
not.
live.
They're not. Okay, yeah, okay. I can move them.
Okay.
But you could turn it, if you're really brilliant, or you found someone that would do it for you cheap, you could turn it into a Google form.
You can do it in a Google form pretty easily.
Right.
Which would be cool.
Right.
That might be really handy.
Or you could have this and you can ask them questions while you're on the phone with them.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's good to have a guide because what you need to do is you need to figure out a way to deliver the information that your buyer wants effectively and easily. And they may already be searching on other websites and they may get really accustomed to that. They may not want to learn another way to do it. So you're going to have to learn what they're doing and how they want to do it so you can easily get in there and help them out. Now, ideally, you would have them, their search would be simple enough that you could use it through your command, what's that?
I like to do RMLS.
You like to do RMLS?
Because I know they're all going to go on Zillow and Redfin no matter what I send them anyways.
Yeah. In a perfect world, they would be on your platform looking for properties, and you would have a real seamless way to communicate with them through that platform. But usually they've already decided something and they might be on a different website. So find out what they're using. I think that's important. And then find out how they want to inform you of what properties they're interested in. I think it's good to have your clients on a search. So you can go into RMLS, and RMLS is the best search, I think, for at least from my perspective, yours too, because you can really fine tune it better than any other platform.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't want to fine tune too much because you can miss something if an agent doesn't put it in right.
Right. Not just that, your buyer may not actually know what they want. Right. So I think these are some basic questions that are really great. So let's start with how they, what is your favorite way to receive information or update? Email, call, text. What is the best time to reach you?
Can you guys see this okay? Do I need to make it bigger?
Well, maybe I'll get out of the way too.
Oh yeah, hold on. There we go.
What's the best way to reach you? And then how often do they want to be notified? Because every hour could be annoying, but
right. But on a listing, if they're in a hot market, right, that the homes are going, if they're anywhere in Hillsborough, Aloha, or Beaverton, it's a hot market. Hot market. So, and realistically, I do it anyways. I want them to get that auto email and RMLS the minute it goes live, because if I don't send it to them, they go and find it on Zillow, and then they're going to be like, oh, why didn't you send this to me?
It could be.
And agents will upload a listing from 12:01 a.m. Just ask Linda, which that's when she does them at midnight, all the way through up until 11:59 p.m. Right? So you don't want to miss one. So if you have it only go out every day at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're missing that whole day's worth, and they're not going to get it till the next day. If you have it go out twice, just same thing, right? If it goes out at 7 o'clock at night and 8 o'clock in the morning, you're still going to miss those ones that the agents are sending in late at night. And are people still up and actually on their phones? Of course they are, right? And it's better to set and schedule the next day than it is the same day. So I like to just make sure when I set up that RMLS auto email to my clients, it's as soon as it goes in.
The two things are gonna happen when you're working with a buyer. One, they're gonna be searching on their own, which is probably about 90% of the time. And then about 10% of the time, you're gonna be doing the searching for them and notifying them about properties. Just depends on who your client is. Find out, if they've already got searches set up, they may have everything they need. They may or may not need another feed coming into them giving information. So have that discussion with them. Find out what the preferences are. Like that's what's so great about this. I wouldn't show them this. It's like I wouldn't like hand this to them and ask them to fill it out.
Not
because
this one.
it's like, well, it's just 3 questions that you check a box. No, the one thing you send them a Google sheet, that might be cool, you know, but maybe it even has more questions in it. But you don't want to pester them.
In the red, there's questions.
Oh yeah. Okay. Have you considered who my main contact will be?
So this is more of a, you're sitting down and you're talking to them, right?
To do like a buyer consult. What timeline would you like to strive for? Have you looked into getting pre-approved for a home loan? Have you thought about the price range you'd be comfortable with? If I found a home today that checked all your boxes, could you see yourself making a move sooner rather than later? Who would feel comfortable saying that? If I found a home today that checked all your boxes, could you see yourself making a move sooner rather than later? Does anybody feel comfortable saying that? Anybody on Zoom feel comfortable saying that?
I get the gist of it.
You get the gist of it?
Yeah. I
So
think
what-
it depends on the relationship. Maybe.
I
And maybe
think-
not in that way,
Yeah.
but like if they tell you, well, we don't want to really buy a house until December.
Yeah.
Well, realistically, we kind of need to start looking right now because we have holidays coming up and then it takes time to find a home, get accepted and get to closing. And so if we go backwards, you need to be looking right now. So, I mean, those are kind of a way you could take that conversation.
I think this question here really gets snuffed out from what's your timeline.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I always ask. What's your timeline? Like, we need to know, like, are we looking for something that we need to find something right now? Because I can tell you 2 things. One, how aggressive they need to be. Because if their timeline's like, oh my God, I'm moving out of my house in 45 days, they better be really aggressive in writing offers. And they need to understand that, especially in this market, straight away. Like you want to set the tone with them right away. You don't have time to let the market teach them what's going on. You need to jump in and get them acclimated as soon as possible, right?
Yeah.
It's like jumping in a pool. Does anybody swim? It's like you jump in a pool and it's cold at first. And then as you start moving around, it warms up, right?
Yeah.
You get acclimated to it. That's what home shopping's like. It's
That's
like,
good. I like that.
it's like you jump in the water and
It's
you
freezing.
it's freezing, but you gotta go in, you gotta go. No time to acclimate. You can't tiptoe in, you gotta jump in. Okay. All right. So I think that timeline question to me is the biggest and the most important one. And then, yeah, if it's a couple, you know, I would imagine they both want to get information delivered to them probably at the same time.
But there will be a main person that you're going to talk to.
There's probably going to be
stuff.
someone you're going to talk to. Again, that might snuff itself out.
Yeah.
That might work itself out.
They
They may say, she may say, oh, call me, but he's at home with the kids with all the time. No, not all the time in the world. He may not have any time, but he may be at home watching, you know, soap operas or something all day. And he might have all the time in the world to be in contact. You might be talking to him more. So you don't know. It's hard to say who's going to be where.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's a decent question to ask. Have you looked into getting pre-approved for a home loan? So if this is an off-city lead, that question's not coming out for me yet, right? I'm gonna go show them the house. Once maybe I show them the second house, when I know that it looks like they're gonna be my client, that's when I'm gonna get into that. So if it's somebody that you know is going to be your client, then I want to get that financial question right away, because it's going to affect what properties we look at. You know, if they're FHA, USDA, VA, like that could affect the type of property you show them.
Yeah.
Like if it's a condo, you want to make sure it's FHA or VA approved, right?
So having a little short conversation with them about that, so they understand that too.
Mm-hmm. And then this is also a great question to tie into the current market situation, because if they find a home that they really like and it's on a Saturday, you know, or it's on, let's say they find a house at an open house on Sunday and the offer deadline's 8 p.m. on Sunday, and they're running around trying to get a pre-approval letter for that house, they're just setting themselves up to fail.
Yeah.
Like you're probably gonna have a real hard time submitting an offer that's marketable, and a marketable offer is gonna have a pre-approval letter with it. You're gonna have a hard time submitting a marketable offer without it. So that would be something I'd want to get out of the way if I knew they were my client right away.
there's a part of that happened in this last transaction that I've had. Find out, ask your clients if you can see what their pre-approval that they got. Like my guy worked at the bank, and so he got a different type of approval on his end of where they could go and how much and what their payments and everything would be, right? The letter we get is just you're pre-approved for this amount, and we don't know what they're figuring their payments are gonna be. Well, this particular bank, the taxes and insurance were so estimated so high that it changed their buying power by almost $25,000. And we didn't realize that because, you know, I assumed that they weren't that bad, right? And that it was okay. And him working at the bank would understand that and know what it should be because they've already sold a home. So when we were getting, I'm like, that doesn't sound right to me on your price. And so he showed me the letter and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I pulled the numbers and it was so out of whack. I said, this is where it should be. Ran them through my calculator, right? Said, take this back to your lender and have them run it through. And sure, they're like, oh yeah, we overestimate on it. I said, find out where you're really at. They realized that they could have written offers on homes in the past couple months because they would have felt comfortable and they might or might not been able to get it. But right, so that one little fact that I wasn't aware on their bank changed what their buying power was. So
that makes me think of something else that when we had Alex and Regina here,
Regina was talking about finding out what they were pre-approved for. Let's say they were pre-approved up to 500. She was like, well, let's look at things that are like 475 and below.
That's right.
Because things have a tendency, I mean, maybe don't shy away from the $500,000 property, but just know that you could find yourself in a multiple offer situation, and to win that, you're going to have to go above.
Probably up to 550.
You could go that high. I mean, you know, so that's another conversation you want to have, right? So there's so many unique conversations in this current market, and it's a fluctuating market as well. So, you know, you can lean on your Altos reports. Who's using Altos reports? Is anybody looking at them? Brian, you're looking at them. What about online? Anybody online looking at Altos reports?
Yes.
Good.
Because they're right on.
There's also the RMLS reports are handy too. They're a little bit, it's a bit of a broader look, but at least with the Altos, you can get into the zip codes.
With the pre-approval, I know I'm comfortable like asking people if they are. When do we actually want to look at their letter?
I want to know. For me, it's more important. I don't know if I need to see the letter so much because if I'm working with them, I trust them, right? So it's not that I need to see the lender, but I want to know who the lender is. That's really important to me. I had clients, you've heard me tell this story probably, that were pre-approved with a lender down in Aurora that I'd never heard of. And I was like, you know, the market's so competitive. Let's get with somebody that somebody's actually heard of before. And, you know, out of a city that's known for doing loans. And so I got into my lender with a company that was recognizable in name so that they have some trust. You know, so the seller's agent has trust that they've done a good job pre-approving the person as opposed to Acme Mortgage out of Aurora, Oregon, right? It's like out of somebody's, you know, tool shed, you know, for all I know.
Remember too, like on the seller side, what they're going to present to their sellers, the listing agent's going to present to their sellers is, this is a reputable bank. I've worked with these before and I know what we're going to close on time. I mean, because that's ultimately what it is. Where's the underwriters? How do they process through? Oh, do they close on time or are they perpetually late, right? And if it's someone that you don't know and you've never worked with, it's harder for the listing agent to say, yeah, this is a great offer, right?
Yeah, there's a lender right now that's doing, I think they're still doing this, they were at least a month or two ago, where they were insuring against a sale fail based upon the buyer's qualification, like up to $5,000 in earnest money. So they were giving sellers $5,000 if the buyer that they pre-approved turned out to not be lendable.
Nice.
Isn't that great? Like, isn't that like, hey, they're doing their homework.
It's like we know we've
We know
buyer qualified and we will get your deal done.
Yeah, right. That's powerful like when you're sitting when it comes along with your offer. So
That's huge.
So get with a good lender and get your people to a good lender. We're I know we're going all over the place here.
No.
But I just think we need to set expectations and do a really good job of educating our buyer clients when we get there, when we know they're our clients. And they're gonna respect you for it, and they're gonna appreciate it in the long run. Like, it may be tedious up front where you're saying, go get pre-approved. They're like, I don't want to I know I can get pre-approved. Don't worry, I'm good. I know you can get pre-approved. I know you're really qualified, but we got to have a pre-approval letter in our holster so we're able to jump on the house and then you see it. Then when you see the house that you want, we need to be able to get that pre-approval letter out at 7:30 on a Sunday night. We can't get a hold of your lender. So yeah. More questions here. Huh?
More. It's actually quite a few pages. So this is
Should you
like,
just go through them?
yeah, this is like finding out, getting more details about your clients, who they are, what do they really want, what are they really searching for, because then that can help you when you're showing homes.
Okay, let's just ask everybody. Let's make this really interactive, okay? So who will be living in the home? Let's list adults, children, and pets that will inhabit the space. Yay or nay on that question?
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
Brian likes it?
Yard.
What's the question?
You will be living in this home.
Who will?
Who will be living in
Who will
this
be
home?
living in them?
Mhm.
Yeah,
You like that one? List adults, children, pets that will be inhabiting the space. What do you think? What kind of information are you gonna get out of that?
I'm sorry?
What kind of information are you gonna get from the answer to that question?
You're
Like how
gonna
it would be
know,
useful?
you're gonna learn what they need, what they can't live without, if they need a yard, all sorts of things.
Okay, yeah.
And also, who the people, it's one way to find out who actually is going to be buying the house. So
That's a
maybe,
good point, Anita. That's a very good point. And also, like, are you gonna need like a separate living space for like an in-laws quarters or something
Right.
like that?
Schools.
Schools are super important. I mean, that's like, for a lot of people, the schools are such a big deal when purchasing. It's super important. Okay, what are your non-negotiables for your home? Did you guys ask that? You think that's a good one or not?
that's a really important question.
Yeah.
Most people,
It's one of the most important questions, to be honest.
Yeah.
if you've thought it through, for people who've thought it through, you have your list of what you want and what you don't want, and on that list are the things that are just your bottom line.
Yeah. I would also, when I hear answers to that question, something they think is super important may actually not be as important as they might think, right?
Yeah.
They might think, well, it has to be 3,000 square feet. But what if it's 2,950 square feet?
That's what I always
Right.
ask them.
Like,
Yeah, are you gonna say no? Okay, then we're gonna broaden our search just a little bit
yes,
wider.
right.
Kind of like you come into an open house last weekend, I was like, well, I had two that were just quick like that. She came in and said the kitchen wasn't south facing, so it wasn't for her, and walked
Yeah.
right back out. And then somebody else had a very similar
Yeah.
directional thing.
Yeah.
There's
Walk back out.
There's a really popular neighborhood in Bethany in the Stoller School District where on one side of the street, the houses sell for about 10% more than they do on the other side of the street. Because, and it's not feng shui, it's something like feng shui. And a lot of the people who live in that neighborhood, they insist that their door faces a certain direction, or actually that it doesn't face a certain direction. And the ones that do really sell for quite a bit less because it's such, culturally, there's a lot of people who observe this. I'm not sure what it's called. What's
You sure it's not feng shui?
It's not feng shui, it's like feng shui. I think it's more of a.
That chewed my husband out for his, about a
Yeah.
house at the T-junction. I'm like, what were you thinking?
Yes, exactly. I'm at a T-junction, but I got a big old rock that deflects the bad juju.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
We don't.
It's a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
So anyways, those are some things you want to address, right? Like some things you want to hear about, and then maybe they are non-negotiables, but maybe you can find a workaround on it. And maybe their non-negotiable is a non-starter, like, but maybe it's just like what they want, they absolutely cannot have at the price point they're qualified for. So things you want to know.
It kind of goes down to the next one.
Yeah. Beyond your top 5 needs, what is something you really want? Well, if you could deliver on that, that would be cool, wouldn't it? No, I mean, I think it would, right?
Yeah, no, it'd be awesome. I was just laughing because I have a lot.
Yeah, top 5. But is that the way you phrase that, top 5? I mean, I think that's too broad. I'd say like top 3, right?
Yeah.
Because top 5, well, we need 3,000 square feet. We need 4 bedrooms. We need 12,000 square foot yard. We need a 3-car garage, and we want to live. We want to get it all for less than $500,000. Well, you can get 2.
Sorry.
2 or 3. Okay. Do you have a preference for the year the house was built? I think that's just a really small segment of people that are zeroed in on an era of home.
Yeah,
Really, really small.
maybe, yeah.
I had a client one
I think
time.
you kind of know based on where they're looking too. Because you
Yeah.
know, people looking in North
Yeah.
Portland, they want an older home,
Yeah, like
right?
if you're in Laurelhurst, it's obvious probably, right? So
Yeah.
if they're looking in Laurelhurst, you might be like, okay,
Well, you're
or
not-
close to the east side. If they're looking closer to the east side,
But what
you may want to
is-
ask that question to find out if they're open to a new construction over there or not. But otherwise,
Yeah.
the answer's kind of there for you. I've had a client one time. She was one of her sons was autistic, and she was trying to remove all kinds of impurities from her life. And so for her, there was some materials used in construction homes in a certain area, and she would not entertain those whatsoever. And so for her, it was very, very important, but we kind of figured that out along the way. Just something, if somebody's got something that specific, they're probably gonna lead with that. They'll probably say the house must not be built
Yeah.
prior to 1990.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want a house in moving condition, or are you willing to do some work on it? It's a good question.
Mhm.
When people visit your home, what do you want it to say about you? I'd love to get you guys' input on that.
I think that comes, oh, sorry. I need to let you guys do that, not me.
Anybody have any ideas on that one? When people visit your home, what do you want it to say about you?
I wouldn't ask that. What do you think they're trying to get at with that?
Yeah, I have no
I don't know.
idea.
I think that's more like decor more than the home.
I'd be like, what are you getting at? Somebody asked me a question, they're like, what are you prying into here?
Yeah, that has a lot to do with like the price one thing too, because it's gonna be a level
Right?
of
Right.
success and.
This is
whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I say let's cross that one out.
Let's cross that one out, yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any specific features that would make your next house feel instantly like home?
I don't
Like-
like that question either.
You don't like that one?
Not particularly.
I don't like the way it's
You
worded.
could word it differently. What makes a house feel like a home to you?
Yeah, that's better, maybe. Yeah. I always steer away from anything that sounds like a sales pitch.
Right,
And that feels like a sales pitch.
yeah.
What if I could find a house that instantly made you feel like it was home? Would that be something you're interested in?
No, you don't sound.
You never say that.
No, but what you do, instead of asking this question, is you watch for those triggers when you're showing them the homes, right? That what's gonna give it away is when they start moving into
Yeah.
the,
Yes.
that answers that question right there.
Yes, I agree.
What they're really pointing at
Yeah,
and what's really driving them.
yeah. Yeah, can we throw out the notion that we're in sales?
You're not,
Can we throw that out? Like, this is something that I learned at Mega Camp. I guess I knew it, but it's opened my eyes to it. So your real estate business has 2 separate pieces, right?
Yeah.
Lead generation and then the actual operation of your real estate business, right? And the converting of it is, the better you're over here, the more you're going to convert over here. But we're not, it's not sales. It's marketing to some extent.
yeah,
It's a lot more fiduciary. It's more consulting. It's not sales. So let's just throw anything that feels like a sales pitch. Let's just get rid of it because you just provide value and the sale will take care of itself.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Will you require accessibility options?
I think that's a fair question.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that
I
here,
don't.
before you got to all these other questions, I think this one will probably answer itself along the way. too.
that'll probably come out in the top 5 features.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, for sure.
My son's in a wheelchair, I need to have
Yeah.
accessibility. That'll be a top. So
Yeah,
I really probably get rid of that
If you had never met somebody, you're clearly asking them, are you handicapped or is anybody in your family handicapped? And I wouldn't do it. And that's right. And if anybody is, it's probably one of the first things they're going to tell you.
Absolutely, Anita. Completely agree.
Yep, it'll be a top 5.
You can also throw, I feel like you can throw it in after like who's gonna be living here, or if anybody has any special requirements or something like that.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
that's a good way to do it.
That's a much better way to do it.
Is that big enough for you?
Mhm.
Is it too high for you? Should I bring it down to eye
That's
level?
perfect. That's perfect.
Wait. There you go.
What time of home, what time?
We're going to the
What-
exterior now.
I don't know if this is an exterior question, but what type of home are you looking for?
Oh,
I think, what are you looking for is a better question.
Okay, I
And
want
you'd
a-
probably say that the
I
first
want a
time.
townhome that is, when I walk into it, it's like a mansion instead of a townhome.
Right. For the first 2 questions I would ask when sitting down, what are you looking for and when do you want it?
Boom.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
What square footage would adequately cover your living space? I would never ask that question because I don't think
No.
that anybody knows. I
No one
answer that
knows.
question. How many stories do you prefer? That might be something, I think I would use that as I went through. Like, are you looking for a 1-level, 2-level house? 3?
Right.
It says the daylight basement. Is that okay? Cool.
What if it has a lot of stairs going up
Yeah.
to the main entry?
That's a huge one, guys.
That's huge.
And just from, there's 2 things I always steer my buyer clients away from. Driveways, steep driveways, up or down. And stairs to the front door are a killer, an absolute killer on resale value. People will be like, I don't know why my house isn't selling. And it's like, well, there's 33 steps to your front door.
There's no steering them. Oh, wait, it's not that. Guidance.
Okay. I would, well, stop steering something different.
I
You're
know,
thinking
I'm
of
teasing you.
a different version.
No, but it is more about a conversation about resale, right? Yes, I know you probably want to be in this home forever. However, if you ever do need to go resell it, this could cost you in price and time on the market,
Mhm.
right?
I'm always thinking about, and this is something I learned when I first got into real estate, when I was working for somebody else. And he had said to me, he was gonna go show his client, we were gonna go show client's property. I was just basically driving and listening all day. And his thing was like, okay, if they have to sell this house in 2 years, will they be able to get out from underneath it? So he wants to always try to sell them something that's marketable.
That's right.
So, steep driveways, uphill. I don't like houses that back to an uphill in the back. I'd rather it back downhill and have
And
a
do you
daylight
know
basement.
why?
Water. Yeah.
Yep.
But a house that is on the back, has the uphill on the backside is usually gonna have stairs up to the front door too. The floor plans are always a little funky.
Yeah.
A lot of times living spaces are on the back of the house, but that can be really dark because of the hillside back there. So there's just so many reasons why I try to steer my clients away from
God.
those kind of properties. I'm always thinking about resale on something. So
Yes.
if a client wants to see something on a busy road, the very first thing I say is, look, guys, like, you're gonna buy this now. If you buy this today, it's a really hot market. And this house is probably gonna sell for over asking because that's the market we're in. But in 5 years, if the market equals out, you're really gonna pay a price for that busy road right there. That
That's
road
right.
noise is gonna cost you guys a lot of money. So
And do you
just
want to
like,
hear it every day?
yeah. Not only will you hear it every day, when you go to sell it, it's gonna be an issue. And they don't care. You're like, you're sure? I press them on it because one, I don't care about them, right? I want them to make a good decision. And then when I go to sell it, I want it to be easy on me. So.
You could do, if they're really adamant about it, you could go into RMLS and look at the history and see when the last time it was on the market and how long it was.
Mhm.
And then you could show them,
Mhm.
right? Because we know we've had some downturn markets.
Absolutely. What lot size?
You don't get a choice here.
Yeah, you don't. What type of exterior siding appeals to you? No, don't ask that. Do you want a porch, deck, or both? Yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
I think it's, what are you looking for in terms of garage? I think that's a good question.
Yeah, especially in the rainy weather, right?
This one, what type of driveway or vehicle entrance exit would you require? That'll be a top 5. That would be like, if you're asking what something they really want to have, that likely will come up in that conversation, because people who have RVs they
Oh, yeah.
either want to have it close by or they want to have the ability to park it somewhere. So usually that comes up like, oh, we need someplace for our RV. That's usually a topic that comes up
Yeah.
right away. Do you want a swimming pool or a hot tub?
I do, I got one. I got both.
Good luck on both. Good luck on both.
I got both.
Swimming pool, like an in-ground pool is difficult to find. And hot tub, put your order in that.
Yeah,
It's gonna
right?
take a while.
All right.
Um,
Structures,
mhm.
yeah, you don't need to ask that.
I just think that,
They're going too detailed.
again, I think you're already gonna know, right? If they're looking for horse property or they probably want a barn, right? But hey, do you want to shop? Nah, I don't know. Again, that's something that someone's gonna lead with. A shop is a big deal to someone who's purchased, somebody who wants who needs a shop, who's only gonna buy a house with a shop.
That's what they're
They're
looking
gonna
for.
they're leading with that.
That's top five.
Yeah, yeah. Do you need a special outdoor arrangement for pets? Dog run, fence in the yard, etc.? I think that circles back to who's gonna be living here.
Yep. They have pets, right away. Dogs, they're gonna want a yard.
And then what other exterior features are important to you? I don't think I've ever asked anybody about what exterior features they want in a house. Not specifically. Okay, interior, okay, so what style do you envision for the interior of your home? Is it formal, casual, cozy? Is it traditional, minimalist, modern? What do you guys think on that one?
What I think is we need to rewrite this list. We could do a better job.
Well, I think we're kind of doing that right now, right?
Yeah.
Right? So that might be cool in a different time when there wasn't 32 pictures of every house that people see available online.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
Where maybe that was an important thing for you to know. What kind of floor plan do you prefer? Again, I think that photos are so descriptive these days.
I think that if they wanted an open floor plan, that would be in their top five,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I don't want to be in a colonial style where every room is separate from the others.
Yeah.
I want my kitchen opened up to the family room
Right.
and,
Right.
the dining area.
Yeah. Well, we'd really like something charming close to the east side, but we'd love it if it had a great room concept. Like someone will say that to you.
Yeah.
Because they may be looking for like an albatross, right? Something that isn't that common. Like if they're looking in an older neighborhood and they want a great room floor plan,
They don't come with it.
usually they're looking at the older neighborhood because of a specific reason. They've already in their mind made a decision that they're going to forego some of the conveniences that you'd have, that they're ending up with a formal living room and a formal, dining
Yeah.
room, even though they don't live that way because they want to live in Westlake or they want to live in Royal Woodlands or wherever it is. So, in general, what are your preferences for the interior? No, I would never ask that question.
Mm-mm.
How many bathrooms do you need? That's not a bad question. And then the bedrooms are pretty good too. Be armed and ready. So I think it's really important for you all to do what Tyler's doing right now and get out and look at neighborhoods and view properties and go on tour on Tuesday. So you guys can start seeing what is and what's where. So you kind of know in this neighborhood, this is the kind of home. Like I can tell you, you go up to Murray Hill. You guys know where Murray Hill is in Southwest Beaverton? 3 or 4 bedroom homes, 3 bedroom. If you have a 4 bedroom with a den and a bonus room, like that's a really great floor plan. Like, but there's a lot of them, right? So you'll start learning certain neighborhoods that were built in certain areas have certain floor plans and certain attributes that you can kind of,
And then what the price point.
and you'll know what the price points are and all that, right? So, but like, how many bedrooms do you need? Well, that's a really nuanced question because if they need 3 bedrooms or let's say they need 5 bedrooms. Well, do you really need 5 bedrooms or you need, 3 bedrooms, a den and a bonus, right? So you
Yeah,
can
what
kind
are
of get into their lifestyle, figure out how they live and
Yeah.
why they need those. I think it's really important. What are your preferences for the owner's suite? Okay.
Walk-in closet, garden tub,
Yeah.
or just a big shower,
Yeah.
both.
Yeah, I think that's an important question. again, for me personally, the buyers that I work with, I'm not doing a ton of searching for that. Like the search to me, and Tanya, tell me if I'm wrong, and if you guys have different experiences, I want to hear about them too, because there's more than one way to do this. But for me and the way I've conducted my business over the years, I'm not finding very many properties for my client. That's not the service I provide. It's the information is so accessible these days. You want to keep up with them. You have them on a search so they get something with you that shows that you're, in tune with what they're looking for.
That you're helping them.
Yeah, but the purpose, I don't think your purpose is to find them a home. It's just, there may be a few maybe something really specific. Let's say you've got some, really somebody who wants to live on the lake in Lake Oswego, and they're really busy. They don't have time to do searches. So you're going to have to do some legwork for them. You're going to have to stay on top of the market. You're going to have to preview the houses before they fly in to see them. But for the most part, 95% of your buyers are going to be searching online on their own. You just need to keep up with them because they're probably going to find the house before you do.
Yep. And when they send you something they like, look at it, see what it is that they like.
Yeah.
It's another good way to not ask all these
Yeah.
questions.
When someone sends me the property they're interested in, the first thing I do is go in the RMLS and look it up. I don't maybe if I'm out and about, I may just look at the link they send me really quick on my phone, like, oh, that looks cute. Yeah.
Mhm.
But you gotta, in order to show it to me, you gotta go to the RMLS anyways, right?
Yeah.
So I get in the RMLS immediately so I can find out more information, because again, the RMLS has more information, I think, than the other site does.
Mhm.
And you have to go there anyways to set the showing. So that's where I go. That's what I do. Okay. What are your kitchen? Again, we're making assumptions here that we're going to be able to find this stuff before they do. I don't know if you need to go through this anymore.
No?
Like
Let's see what else
beating
is
a
on
dead
it.
horse. I feel like we're beating a dead horse
Living
here.
room, dining room, neighborhood.
All right. So this is going to be something that people are probably pretty tuned into. So they're either looking for a specific neighborhood because they like the aesthetics of the neighborhood, or the fact the homes are in that neighborhood, or because the school's in that neighborhood, or because of proximity to their work. What are some other reasons why somebody might want a specific neighborhood?
Friends and family.
Friends and family?
Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
Anything else? Schools. Definitely schools.
Certain neighborhoods have like a
Shopping.
stigma about like, if you're there, you're gonna network more in
Mhm.
certain areas than other areas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like Villebois is one neighborhood where it's really because of where it's at, and I think because some of the things they built around it. Murray Hill's same way, where you've got a lot of infrastructure like right around one neighborhood.
Mhm.
And those people look for Burlingame a lot for some reason. They love in the West Side Burlingame neighborhoods. People are really specific on that. Charbonneau, right? They want to be around that golf course. It was retirement. It's got a lifestyle. So maybe it's those are lifestyle issues typically, right?
Yeah.
When somebody wants a specific neighborhood, it's a
Yeah.
lifestyle they're looking to lead.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's.
School districts, right? So once they kind of identified their neighborhood and why, then I think you need to get into start providing value and know what they know about the neighborhood at least, right? So if they know they want to be in Bethany because in a certain part of Bethany because they want their kids to go to Stoller Middle School, be good for you to figure out why Stoller? What is it that's so great about it? Is it the test scores? Is it a new building? Is it the play structure? Like Lake Oswego, for example, we want to be in Hallinan. Why do you want to be in Hallinan? It has the best playground. It does. It has the best playground. Well, fun fact, right? So, try to find out what it is they want, and get to know more about that. So you can, maybe there's another place that has something similar. Like there's a plan B. that works
Right.
out.
Find it. Yeah.
Because it could be possible that it's
What if
too
they can't
competitive.
afford it?
Yeah, it's too competitive. They can't afford it. So they have to find their plan B. And the more you
Yeah.
know about what they like, the more you can help them find
Yeah.
a different neighborhood. That's something I think you can help with. I think you can really, getting this information out of them, it's not so much to deliver them on the one they already know about, it's to deliver the one that is similar to that one in a different area they weren't looking at, right? Or a different size of home they weren't looking for, or different whatever, right? You think getting to know what they want isn't for you to help build a search, it's to help them find other areas that they might be able to search and find,
I
right?
think one question that didn't come up, might still come up somewhere would be,
Oh, no.
that hasn't been addressed, would be like, what do you do for a living? Because a lot of people now, if people are working from home, you might have a lot bigger spread of where you can be showing them houses, or
Mhm.
if they are at night or something like that, you might be narrowed in on that neighborhood.
Sure.
But
What are the things?
It could also come up as part of like if they're top 5, I'm working from home now, so I need an office,
yeah,
right?
Mhm.
Room space.
Yeah, what are the things can you do, get out of knowing what they do for a living? Is there an
How close
engineer?
is your job?
Yeah, well, but like
Like,
if they're an
is that-
engineer, what does that tell you about them? Is that,
Oh, is that Intel?
like knowing what they do for a living? I'm an attorney. Would you want to know that? Probably.
No.
Okay.
So then this is just your buyer presentation that's in the designs, and you can go in and edit, take out what you don't want, move it around. It also goes down into the home buying process, right? So this is a good thing that you guys should print this out for yourselves if you don't know. So you get an idea of what the home buying process is. And then that also helps you have a conversation with your clients.
Mhm.
All the different steps. Right, and this is part of what we teach you guys in the workshops is the home buying process.
Right. If you do this for a living and you aren't clear on this, could you expect your client to be clear on it? Right? It's a lot to ask. They don't do this every day. They may not know. So
Yeah.
educating them on what to expect is going to make for a much smoother transaction for them, which is going to equate into a much better experience for them, and then make it more likely they're going to want to work with you again. Because not only did Brian tell me how it's going to happen, he also helped me make it happen, right? I was just comfortable the whole time. I was never wondering what's next, because Brian did such a great job of educating me about the process.
Good job, Brian.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions about anything? Got like 7 minutes left.
Yeah. About anything.
Anybody, anything, home buying? Stop share. Bam.
you seen a lot more fluctuation of people moving out of the city or anything personally? I mean, that's why I hear people talking about all the
Yeah.
time right now. Is that
Leaving?
people are not need to be connected to the areas that they typically.
Yeah,
live in, so.
I've got clients right now that I helped them buy a house 3 years ago in the West Hills area, like kind of off of Schultz Ferry near 26th, and they want to get out of the country. They're hit with two issues though. One, Wi-Fi speeds.
Oh,
Like they go out
yeah.
the country and they can do a DSL hookup, but it's a fortune, because they bill them per whatever terabyte, it is. They're going to bill them by the information they download, and it could be really, really cost prohibitive. And then if it's slow, they can't work from home if you can't download information. So,
Well, and streaming, come on, everybody needs streaming.
and plus you need Netflix.
Yeah,
So yes, there are some people trying to get out, and then some people are trying to get in. Like I'm always I like to go the opposite way that everybody else is going. I think that's where you make all your money. So everybody wants to get out of commercial. Everybody wants to get out of their rental properties. It's a great time to buy a rental property.
that's right.
Right? Just like everyone wants to get out of the city, it's a great time to move to the city. Like you want to make some money. I don't know how long it's going to take. Go buy a condo downtown in a good building.
Right.
Because
the
you can't,
prices are
because
dropping.
they're having a hard time selling those right now. You can get a great deal on a place in the Pearl District.
Yeah.
And then in 5 years, when we figure out what to do down there, it'll be all,
Right,
should
Yeah.
make a lot of money. What else is there?
anyone else have any questions online?
Yes, a few from this morning, and I can't remember who else was on Zoom. And I don't know who was in the audience. But there were a couple of things Nico said that either I didn't catch it all or didn't understand, and a couple that I would like your opinion on.
Okay,
So one is, Kelly, how are you currently feeling about escalation clauses?
I've always liked escalation clauses.
every
Yeah.
agent,
Nikos doesn't care for them at all.
there's a lot of agents that don't.
Uh-huh,
There's a lot of agents that do.
uh-huh. I thought it worked well when Kelly, when you were helping me write my first offers.
I think that even agents that don't like them, one, they have to present them. They're
Yeah.
required to present them. And if you have the best offer and it's with an escalation clause, is the seller gonna be like, well, I don't like those, but gosh, it's the best offer. But because you used the escalation clause, I'm not gonna do that. Like maybe 1 or 2% of the people who don't like escalation clauses would kick themselves,
Yeah.
would stab themselves in the foot to not take it. So I think I like them. I think they're great for both. There's, from a listing agent standpoint, it can show a steady increase in purchase price that you could use to present to an appraiser. If you're
Absolutely.
battling appraised value, you could say, well, yeah, no, this wasn't just the one offer that was $100,000 above asking. We got there incrementally,
Right.
and that's how.
I think they're fantastic.
I think they're fantastic. And as a buyer, well, I don't know why you wouldn't use one. Like every time I see someone write an offer for more than asking price,
Uh-huh.
out using an escalation clause, I'm like, why? Why just like pay $5,000 more, $10,000 more than the next highest offer? That's a good deal. Like it's the best of both worlds, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Nikas also says, I think, and if somebody else was in Ignite this morning, and I've got this wrong, please say so. I think he said that he never just forwards the DocuSign documents to the listing agent when he's writing an offer. He downloads them as a PDF, individually labels each of them with a really recognizable title.
Yeah, he did
Attaches
say
them
that.
to an email. What was that?
He did say that, Anita. I do the same thing, but I put mine all in one PDF because I feel like otherwise it's too many. What's your take?
Yeah.
Either way, right?
I don't like just delivering it through
No.
the schedule on DocuSign unless once I'm in contract and if I'm up against a deadline, I definitely want to do that because I want to make sure it goes.
Instantly.
It gets instantly there. Like if I'm up against a deadline on something, then I would do that way. But otherwise, I want to send it over and I want to follow up with a phone call and add some color and show them that I'm professional and that I've been doing this for a long time and that I'm just, or even if you're just new at this, call them and say, hey, looking forward to working on this. Want to let you know we got a home inspection scheduled for Wednesday at 5 p.m. Just want to let you know we're going to hit the ground running on this. I'm looking forward to working with you. If there's anything you think they'll make our offer a little bit more appealing to your client, please let me know. We'd like to work and get this done. It's great to call both Regina and when we had that panel up here 2 weeks ago with Regina and Alex. Regina always calls. Alex always picks up the phone call as a listing agent and calls the lender to find out if they actually are pre-approved, how into the process they are. But he always appreciates a phone call from the buyer's agent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always end my email that I look forward to working with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Assuming they're going to take my offer.
Right. You got to do it both ways. Well, you want to make sure they received it, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So you want to call them. They may not have seen it yet, but you want to get out in front of them and say, hey, I hope you've seen it. If you haven't seen this, if you don't get it, let me know because you want to make sure your offer got there.
Because it could win their spam.
Yeah.
Right. You never know where it'll end up at.
Right.
So,
Don't just
and
assume.
if they don't answer the phone, send them a text.
Yeah.
Bam, bam, bam.
Yep. 3 ways.
So if they don't answer the phone, rather than leaving a voicemail, you would send a text.
I do both. I leave a voicemail letting them know who I am, that I sent them an email. Let me know if they haven't seen it. I'm going to follow this up with a text.
Uh-huh.
Boom.
And so the process, so after the buyer has DocuSigned the offer, then you download it as a PDF.
Yes. Yeah. And that's with what Danielle's suggesting is sending him downloading it as a combined PDF.
Yeah.
Is that they get the whole, that they got the whole package, that you've sent the entire package, right? There isn't some addendum you forgot to attach.
Right.
Or that when they're presenting it, maybe they're presenting it to their clients via email and they've got 12 offers that your escalation clause or your appraisal addendum didn't get lost in the shuffle.
Right.
Or
Oh,
got
yeah,
mixed
that's a good point.
with somebody else's,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah,
That-
yeah.
So you make it easy on them, I think providing one,
One
Danielle,
PDF.
good idea, providing one huge document.
Uh-huh.
with the Entire agreement on there.
Yep.
What, you guys, here's one thing, don't ever do this, right? Always take the buyer's agency agreement out of your,
Yeah, your offer.
and if you're using the KW disclosure, you're getting that thing signed, you don't need to send that over to.
No.
Send contract documents and pre-approval letters over, but don't send them things they don't need, because whenever I get that, whenever I'm opening up a PDF and I'm like, oh yeah, cool, thanks, I'm glad to see your buyer's agency agreement. Like, yeah, there's no bearing on, doesn't make any difference to me as a
Yeah.
listing agent, so don't send it.
Backtrack really quickly to the escalation thing. This has happened a couple times with people that are submitting offers, asking if I was all right with them.
Mhm.
Is that a courtesy that you would suggest, like when you're presenting an offer that does have an escalation, so you have the other side?
No,
of that?
No, if it says no escalation clauses in the listing, then I would have a discussion with my client and say, hey, it says no escalation clauses. I don't know if that's the listing agent's particular, if that's what the listing agent wants, or if that's what they've given to the client of, or if the client even knows about that, I don't know. Do you want to use an escalation clause or not? Just because they say no, just because it says in the listing,
Doesn't mean you can't send it.
doesn't mean you can't send it over. You can write the offer however you want to write. Like, don't send offers less than the asking price. Well, I might send an offer less than the asking price. You can't stop me, right? You can send whatever offer I want. And you have to present it. They have to present it, regardless.
They do.
If they say to you, well, I didn't have to present it.
Yes,
Well, I didn't
you
present
do.
your offer because it has an escalation clause. I'd be like, well, that's not only a violation of Oregon law, it's a violation of the real code of ethics. We'd be happy to talk to either about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your
Um,
PB. My PB.
Yes.
Would you call if in the private notes on the RMLS, if it says no escalation clauses, would you call the agent and discuss that with the agent, with the seller's agent?
No.
Send it out.
I talked with my buyer, and then whatever my buyer decided to do,
You
I
do it,
just-
okay.
my buyer, the repercussions, to say, hey, they may not take your offers, they may not take your offer seriously, they may be steadfast in saying, well, if it has an escalation clause, we won't really consider that amount. Flip side of the coin is usually the best offer wins, so
Yeah.
Right.
Make your best offer.
write your best offer.
Mhm.
There is some discussion I've seen on like the Masters of Real Estate page, whether or not the top of the escalation can be used to bump another escalation that's higher above that one, and I think you absolutely can. But
You can or cannot?
Making the argument that says they can't, but he's wrong. You
It
absolutely
can or cannot?
you can absolutely. So if I write an offer for 450, my escalation clause maxes out at 500, and then you wrote an offer at 450 with an escalation clause that goes to 525, and you're
Oh,
gonna be
sure.
the best offer by 10,000. In my
Yeah.
mind, that makes the purchase price 510, because that 500,000 was the top, that's an offer. And it got pushed by yours, because you were
Okay.
willing to go above, it pushed that one to its limit, and that makes yours a winner.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know how you make the argument otherwise.
No.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Like, somebody who I really respect doesn't see it that way, and he's wrong.
He's wrong.
In that situation, could you just send the
Good.
escalation addendum, or would you also send the contract both in that situation?
Most.
What's the question?
To for proof on it,
Hold on.
like if they're saying.
Oh, yeah, I'd send it, yeah,
Just the addendum?
I'd send everything.
Both?
Yeah, I'd redact it and send everything, yeah. Because it's just one component of that, the other component would be make sure it's not contingent upon the close of something else.
Okay, yeah.
They couldn't hear Brian's question.
Brian's question was, is a listing agent, when you're responding to the winning offer with the escalation clause, and you need to produce the other offer, obviously you redact it. I redacted the agent's name and the buyer's name, and then I would send the addendum with the escalation clause on it, and then I would send any addendum probably mentioned in the agreement. Any addendum that's mentioned in the agreement as well, because I want to show. I don't want them going, wait, what about it? Where's addendum B? But what addendum B could say, who knows what on it, that could make the offer not as good as it was. So,
All right.
any other questions?
No, that's it.
About, one about,
Sorry, 1 o'clock. Tony
Thank
turned into a
you.
pumpkin. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks for your participation.
I have a
Thank you.
coaching appointment. Thank you, guys. We'll see you tomorrow if you're in the coaching group at 2.